Good morning and welcome to Rise and Unwind, a lifestyle show where we talk about tips, tricks, and fun activities you can do in your own neighborhood. My name's Kayla, and today we've got this.
So the studies show that 60% of the survey respondents didn't even know their risk for heart disease.
So they keep your metabolism high. They keep your feelings of hunger low.
All that and more right here on Rise and Unwind.
Do you ever watch a true crime story and think, there's no way that this could be real? And then it is. Then the idea of that is the idea behind the brand new season of A Curious Case of, a series that digs into bizarre, stranger than fiction cases filled with twists, deception, and shocking outcomes. So joining us today is Beth Karas, veteran legal analyst and former prosecutor who helped break down what really happened and why these stories still matter. Welcome to the show, Beth. How are you, my friend?
I'm fine. Thanks for having me. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Excited about it too.
Happy New Year to you. And before the break, I was saying, I love the show. It's great. It's interesting. It's because, a lot of these true crime drama stories always is this person murdered this baby, and it's dark, it's demented, and it kind of goes into these, deep tales of, blood, guts, and people that are just doing horrible things. But this show, okay, and not to just keep gushing about it, it goes into something a little different. It does have the true crime. It has some weird tales. It has some stories. First season, loved it to death. But you investigate things that are a little different and not just blood, guts, and watch these people kill things that were innocent all from the start.
You know what? You hit the nail on the head. That why this series resonates with a lot of men who are kind of get turned off to a lot of blood and guts and murder, right? It's like a largely female audience. It skews female, I should say. But I'm hearing from husbands and boyfriends saying, there's a show that I can watch that's crime or crime adjacent, as we say, that I can watch with my girlfriend or my wife and enjoy it. So we're not looking at murders, but we're looking at weird, bizarre behavior, as you said. It's deceitful, it's fraudulent, could be cults, it's something's wrong here. What is it? A crime? What is the crime? Sometimes it's clear there's a crime, but it's like somebody gets away with a deception or a fraud for a long time. It's like I marvel at what people do and get away with.
Yeah, I think I'd be a little nervous if I'm sitting down and relax and my wife is getting super excited about a murder drama of someone killing their husband. Yeah, I can understand that situation. But okay, you really choose some wild and interesting tales and stories. How do you find these?
So, there's a team of us, and I'm part of that team who look for the stories. I mean, stories come to me, but we also, we scan, the internet. We, might listen to some podcasts. Maybe people we know. There's a story I've been pitching of somebody I know who had, I don't want to give away the punchline, but it's not in this series, but he was missing for a long time and people thought he was abducted by aliens. Turns out that wasn't the case. Anyway, they're weird, twisted stories, and we just find them, in life, on the internet, newspapers, friends, people we know. We listen to reports.
All right, and this season, what are some of the highlights? Anything big that we should be looking out for? What's something we can look forward to in the season? What's the elevator pitch this time?
So, well, the finale is a good one, right? And it's called The Corpse That Came to Dinner. Okay, I just leave it at that. It's a weird story. 91-year-old woman found with two corpses at home, right? Unbombed corpses. So that was weird. It's like, it's got to be a crime here somewhere, but it was her husband and her twin sister. She loved them. She cared for them. Is it really a crime? So that's the finale. So you got to wait 8 weeks for that one. But the school principal who hypnotized his students, and he wasn't licensed to do it. And there, three of them tragically die. There's no murders, but they die. The woman who is faking her illnesses, she's faking paralysis from the neck down. What, to get attention? I'm not sure. She fakes being a cancer survivor. She wants people to like her, maybe. I don't know. She fakes pregnancies. These are all over several years. It's very strange behavior that made me angry, having grown up with two special needs brothers who died as young adults. That really made me angry that somebody would fake an illness that they don't have just to get people's sympathy. I guess. I'm not really sure. So that's one of the stories. But that was like, what is the crime here? It's not a crime to break someone's heart. It's not a crime to lie unless you're getting a benefit. And that's what did her in. She got a benefit. She got something of value. She got a bicycle. She got a trip. She got some expenses paid to go to a camp for the special needs people. So, I mean, the first episode, right, the green smoothie, guy who practiced medicine without a license was also like, he started life pretty good, making a lot of money with his alkaline diet. But then he took it a step too far. He got too greedy. He started promising people he could cure their cancer. That's what landed him in prison.
As a journalist and someone that has dealt with legal analysts and former prosecutor, what did you learn while working on these projects, and what is something that is a takeaway that you going into this? Okay, these are interesting stories, but what is something that like made you realize, or what did you learn that you want people at home to kind of get while watching this, or just learn while making the projects yourself?
I want people to be aware that there are a lot of frauds being perpetrated, not just on the robocalls and the emails you get where people are trying to get into your bank account and get your personal information, but people are out there lying about themselves. I mean, the green smoothie promising, the guy with the smoothies promising he can cure your cancer, the woman faking her paralysis, and she really did fake the counselors. I mean, they thought she was paralyzed. I mean, just it's a cautionary tale to just always be on alert. I don't want people to be distrustful of everyone, but just, you just gotta check things. And if your radar, your gut is telling you something's not right, that's probably the case.
Beth, you are a hero. Thank you for bringing this once again to us. We love this stuff. So,
thank you.
You got to check out new episodes of Curious Case Up that are airing weekly on Investigation Discovery, with episodes also available streaming on Max. If you're fascinated by true stories that prove reality can be a little stranger than fiction, then this is absolutely one worth watching. Beth, I want to thank you once again for being with us, my friend.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Ever wonder what would happen if the whole world suddenly got too happy and you were the one person who couldn't go along with it? Apple TV has a brand new series called Pluribus, where a mysterious event connects pretty much everyone, and somehow that perfect world feels like a nightmare. Rhea Seehorn stars as Carol, the most miserable person on Earth, who might be the only person who can stop it. Rhea Seehorn is here with us today. Welcome to the show, Rhea. How are you?
Thank you. I'm well. Thanks.
All right. So for people that are just hearing about Pluribus, what is the simplest way to describe Carol and the moment that her world kind of flips upside down?
Simple? I'm not sure I can pull that one off. Okay. So Carol it kind of is, but was a successful romance novelist, but very much a misanthrope, fault finder, can't enjoy anything, has to say what's wrong with everything, and has this world event happen that moves somewhat like a virus, where everybody except 13 people are immune, and she's one of the immune people to this thing that makes everybody habitually peaceful and content and happy. And they all have one brain. You're still in your own mortal body, but you share one hive mind. Carol thinks this is a horrible thing. And even among the other immune people, a lot of them think, why is this so bad? And that's sort of an integral question that the show explores from a lot of different angles of how do you define happiness? How do you define contentment? How do you define individuality and freedom and success? And what is worth the cost of some of those things?
And it also looks like Carol has this dream life, but she's still miserable. And I can relate. What did you latch onto emotionally when you first read who she is and who she's kind of fighting against?
I felt like wait, say your question again. I'm sorry. I didn't want my cat to bother you.
Oh, no, I'm down with cats. We got cats in our studio, so okay. Cat life is the best life that we have. It was basically saying, when you read the script, what did you latch onto emotionally and when you saw that she was kind of fighting against the world, I guess?
Yeah, many things. And one of them being that I had to constantly keep in mind that there is a very personal obstacle she has weighing her down. In addition to losing the world, she lost her wife. And we wanted that grief to stay real and present and not just be something that you're just over the next day. And I kind of would start from that place some days, because I thought she can't it's hard to take in, if you're a real person that this is happening to, the larger aspects of what is going on in the world. And there's many times where she's, the Simpsons character of old man yelling at clouds. And she's just the only person screaming and no one understands why. And so I just kept reminding myself to try to be as honest as I could in those moments. And Vince writes in a way that allows those moments of honesty, which I think are always the way to bring the audience in on the journey with me.
And the show plays with this big question, is that joined happiness a utopia, or is it something darker? As an actor, how do you stay grounded in the reality of the story while everything around just kind of feels uncanny?
Just like I was just saying, I just look for like, what is the real person in the middle of this? What is the real reaction? So yeah, most of us have not had a situation where we felt like the entire world was invaded by some kind of alien virus that was making them happy. But we have all been in rooms, most of us, I think, where you feel like you're the only person shouting that the barn's on fire. Mm-hmm. And you look crazy shouting it. And everyone's like, wow, you should really settle down. And it just is making you crazier and crazier. So I was just constantly look for like, what are the things that are most like this, as if that you can just start to build from there and then raise the stakes.
And you and Vince Gilligan have such a strong creative history. I could tell that there's a big difference in the tone of Pluribus compared to what people might expect from him. But how did he open this up and let you explore in what you did with Carol?
I mean, for some people, this is Vince going back to his roots because he started on X-Files. So they were prepared to have him do sci-fi. He actually told me almost nothing. He just said it has nothing to do with the Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul world. It has a sci-fi element, and I just want to send you the script and see what you think. And I went on the same wild ride that you guys did watching the pilot. I was just like, this is nuts, and this is going to be so much fun.
Ray, I want to thank you for hanging out with me this morning. Pluribus is streaming now on Apple TV. If you like smart sci-fi with suspense, dark humor, and a big, wait, what would I do question or two, this one's going to stick with you. So check it out on Apple TV. Ray, I want to thank you for hanging out with me.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Ever wonder how Moonshiners keep a century-old tradition alive when the stakes keep getting higher and higher? A new season of Moonshiners is already underway, and it's pushing the limits like never before, from rising liquor prices to bigger risks and tougher crackdowns. So joining us today are Mark Ramsey and Digger Maines, longtime distillers and stars of Moonshiners on Discovery Channel. It's great to see you both. How are you two today?
Good to see you, boss.
It's great to be seen. It's better to be seen than viewed.
Yeah.
That's a good line. I love that. All right. I guess we're just hanging out today. We can't really be talking about anything that you guys do. So it's how are things? No.
Things are good.
We're not afraid to talk about what we've done. Sometimes it might save somebody from making the same mistake.
Oh, gotcha. All right. So this season opens with more pressure than ever. There's higher costs, tighter enforcement, bigger risks. What did that change for you guys day to day?
Cautious on all levels, whether it be the materials you're buying or looking in that rearview mirror to see if the police is on your back end.
The dynamics in our line of work never changes. It just changes the fact how severe they are. Higher prices is absolutely bad for us, but the tariffs may be a good thing for us for liquor being sent out of the country. It puts more demand on non-tax liquor. So, it's a double-edged sword, but we're going to live with it and deal with it the way we always have.
And moonshining has deep roots going back hundreds and maybe even thousands of years. When you look at what you're doing now, what still feels the same and what feels completely different?
The amount of money we're making feels different, and the pressure feels a whole lot worse.
The thing about it is this upcoming season, Digger and I have kindly, we're getting back to our roots, back to our basics a little more, slowing down a little bit, trying to draw less attention to ourselves. And, it was good. Digger and I hadn't done anything just one-on-one together in a long time, and I think it'll turn out real nice this season.
It will. I mean, no matter what the dynamics, if you don't approach what you're doing for a living as a business, then it's not going to be a business long. We look at the future. We see what projections on sugar are going to be the next year. We tend to watch that. See where you can get the biggest value, and you can pass that value on to your customers and still make your profit margin handsome.
And there's a real sense this season of deciding how far is too far. Were there moments that you honestly questioned whether it was worth continuing?
Oh, absolutely.
Just about every day, right?
About every day, yeah. It every day brings its own set of challenges. And I think that's one reason that Digger and I are both attracted to this business so much. And the fact that we just love the heritage of it. Our forefathers done it. When the immigrants, the Scotch Irish and the Black Dutch came to this country, not only did they bring their couches and their tables and their furniture, they brought their liquor stills. And maybe we owe all of this to them.
And viewers see the danger and the drama, but they also see the craftsmanship. What do you wish people would better understand about the skill behind what you do?
Well, it should be their way of doing life and whatever their vocation is. Whether you're digging taters or making liquor, do the best you possibly can at it. And if anybody around you needs a little help, be the first one to extend that hand. That's what's kept this craft alive.
We're blessed in the place where we live and the area we grew up in, and people grew up here helping each other, and we like to continue that. And that's the way it's going to stay as far as I'm concerned. But it is a business. We do have to make a living. And but all in all, it's a good life. It's been a wonderful ride.
And you guys are the experts. For those that are amateurs or inspired by what you do, what are some of the do's or don'ts or warning signs or say, hell no, don't do this type of things that you could say to somebody that might be interested in jumping in and maybe trying something like this themselves? Not to try to influence anyway.
I don't know where you'd start with all the don'ts. There's a lot of those. It's like any other hobby. And that's all it's going to be anymore, because the days of huge liquor production, they've about dwindled out on the untaxed side. It's just a way to share camaraderie anymore. The beautiful thing about this show we're doing, we've been blessed to be involved in this part of the Appalachian heritage. And I appreciate the fact that folks want to look into it and see what we've lived through all our lives.
The advice I give anybody, if you want to make you a little bit of liquor, get busy, do it. If it's something you enjoy, keep at it, because you're going to make a lot of terrible liquor. Digger and I have made a ton of terrible, terrible liquor. And, it comes with practice. And every now and then, you'll still make a terrible run of liquor. But I recommend it. Try it. If you like it, keep it up. If you don't, move on.
It is. It's a lot of fun.
Mark, Digger, I want to thank you too for joining me today. You can always catch new episodes of Moonshiners now airing on Discovery Channel, and follow the season as it unfolds with even higher stakes and deeper tradition. Hey, I want to thank you too for joining me today.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed day.
GLP-1 medications are changing the conversation around weight loss. A lot of people are seeing results, but doctors say the real key is what happens beyond the prescription. Mistie Mace is finally finding success after years of trying different approaches, and she's here to share her journey. Alongside her is Dr. Michelle Gourdine, Chief Medical Officer for CVS Caremark, to explain why a whole person plan matters. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
So, Mistie, can you share a little about your weight loss journey and what you've been through over the years?
Yes, thank you. I developed obesity early in elementary school. The weight just came on pretty quickly. It was over the years of actually completing high school. And we found out I had thyroid cancer. So I had a total thyroidectomy done. I went through years of radiation treatment, and the weight just kept piling on. I became a wife, a mother. I have a 19-year-old special needs child. And then I became a nurse. So in talking with my patients and educating them, I had to really approach it for myself and hold myself accountable. How could I take care of my patients if I wasn't taking care of myself? And so I decided to get some help.
And what led you to try GLP-1 medication, and why did this time feel a little different than your previous attempts?
I had tried different ways of losing weight, changing the way I ate, and then exercise, and that wasn't enough. So then I would go back to my old habits, and then I would go back to trying to eat better. And so I got a health coach. I joined CVS's weight management program and got a health coach, and we talked about behaviors and habits and my relationship with food and my relationship on how I approach things. And that was one of the biggest challenges at first. And then we started talking about the GLP-1 and was it right for me? And so my health coach suggested that I talk to my doctor. So in having that conversation with my primary doctor and my specialist, we determined that, yes, GLP-1 was going to be good for me. We just had to find a plan that was going to fit me and everything else I had going on. I'm a diabetic, I have high blood pressure, I have high cholesterol, and all those things added is just a combination that you do not want. And so in talking with my doctors, we've developed the plan and we started it. I'm over 50 pounds down now. I no longer have to do insulin. I no longer have to do oral diabetes medications. I have a lot more energy and I feel better. But I also had to add in the support system. I have a great support system, not only my coach, my doctors, but my family, my husband, and everyone was there to help me.
That is great news. Dr. Gourdine, some people see quick results with GLP-1 medications, but we're hearing that long-term success takes more than that, as you kind of just mentioned. What should patients understand going in?
Yeah, GLP-1s are really revolutionary drugs. We have seen a larger amount of weight loss driven by these drugs than any other anti-obesity medications. And part of it has to do with the fact that GLP-1s address the science behind obesity, which, by the way, is a chronic condition. It is not a failure of willpower. The reason I say that is because the body's actually wired to sort of maintain people at a particular weight. And once you start to lose weight by eating less or by exercising, your body will sometimes counter that by slowing down your metabolism so that your weight creeps back up. GLP-1s work to flip that script. So they keep your metabolism high. They keep your feelings of hunger low so that you're able to lose sufficient weight. So we know GLP-1s are great at kickstarting weight loss, but in order to maintain that weight loss over time, we know the medications are not enough. You've also got to have the behavior changes to understand what triggers you to eat more healthfully, to exercise more. And that requires support, because it needs to fit into your day-to-day life. We serve many roles. Mistie's a wife, Mistie's a mother, Mistie's a nurse. And fitting those behavior changes into her life is what the health coach really is instrumental in doing. So once you've got the medication to kickstart, the support from the coaching to be able to make those changes that fit into your lifestyle day-to-day, then you're able to see that long-term success with weight loss.
And Mistie, since starting this treatment, what changes have you made in your daily routine to support your goals beyond the medication?
So as I said, I had to make the behavioral changes and the habit changes. And in doing that, I had to change how I approach my diet. I went to the high protein, low carb diet. I changed the way that I shopped. My husband and I changed the way that we cooked in the home and what foods we ate. We're very careful in our grocery shopping now that we just don't add in all those extra things that we really just don't need, like all the snacks and things that we would just sit around and watch TV and eat a snack. Sitting down and watching a movie and eating some popcorn seemed like a natural thing to do. But now that those cookies and snacks and chips are now replaced with yogurt, fruit, vegetables, good things. And in doing all of that, it just made this a lot easier.
And Dr. Gourdine, for someone thinking about GLP-1 medications, what conversations should they be having with their healthcare provider before getting started?
That's such an important question. You and your healthcare provider should first and foremost ask the question, is this the right drug for you? Mm-hmm. Given your health condition, is this something that you think is going to work to help you lose the weight and get to a healthy weight? Secondly, talking about side effects. People worry about side effects with these drugs. These drugs do cause side effects. Most of them are mild, and most people feel better over time. And there are things the doctor can do in terms of adjusting the dosing to help with that. Thirdly, the cost. Affordability is key, and these drugs can be very expensive. So does my insurance cover these drugs? Because if you can't afford the drugs, then you're not going to be able to take them. And if you don't take them, they can't work. And then finally, what's the commitment that the patient actually has to making the behavioral, the lifestyle changes, changing the habits in order to make sure that this weight loss lasts over time? So those are some things I would encourage people to talk to their doctors about if they're considering these drugs.
And where can viewers go to find more information?
They can go to cvshealth.com.
Dr. Gourdine and Mistie, I want to thank you both for being here today.
Thank you.
Heart disease is still the #1 killer in the country, and millions of Americans take statins every single day to lower their risk. But new research shows a lot of people may not know about something called CoQ10 and how it connects to heart health. Dr. Tania Elliot is a dual board certified physician in internal medicine and immunology, and she's here to break down what this new study found and what we should be asking our doctors. Welcome, Dr. Elliot.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So what is CoQ10 and why is it important for heart health?
So coenzyme Q10 is a compound that is essential for our muscles in order to create energy and for our muscles to be able to function. And the highest concentration of coenzyme Q10 is found in the heart, which is a muscle. Most people think, oh, my heart is an organ, right? Well, it's actually a muscle and it needs a heck of a lot of energy. And so it needs that coenzyme Q10. Also, our other muscles need it. But what happens over time is our CoQ10 levels decrease. We stop producing it as much. And what we also know is that statins, which are really important for cardiovascular health, if you have high cholesterol, you're likely to be on a statin. 90 million Americans are on a statin, and it's a very effective medication at lowering your heart disease risk, but it also inadvertently lowers your coenzyme Q10 levels. So it's important to have a conversation with your doctor to see whether or not CoQ10 supplementation might be right for you.
And I know you're releasing some new study results. What were your biggest takeaways?
So the study was conducted by Doctors Best, which is a leading supplement company. And what they wanted to understand was, like, to what extent do people understand their risk for heart disease, right? It's the #1 killer of Americans. So the study showed that 60% of the survey respondents didn't even know their risk for heart disease. So how could we do anything about it or treat it if we don't even know our risk? The second thing it showed that was really interesting is that 50% of Gen Zers, right, people under the age of 30, are actually worried about their heart. And they cited that chronic stress was the #1 reason for that, and that stress was causing them to have low energy levels and fatigue. It also showed that 17% of those Gen Z respondents were actually on a statin. So they're being treated for high cholesterol or heart disease. And very few people recognize that there was any relationship between CoQ10 and statin use. And statins are important to be on, but they can also contribute to people having muscle aches and pains. When you think about it, CoQ10 present in our heart. It's also present in other muscles throughout our body. So coenzyme Q10 supplementation may also help with some of those muscle aches and pains that people experience from being on statins.
And for someone watching right now who does take statins, what should they be talking about with their doctor?
Have a conversation with your doctor to see whether or not it makes sense to be on CoQ10 supplementation. Normally, I say to patients, hey, get your supplements from your foods. Problem is with CoQ10, the highest concentration of food it's in is in organ meat. And I don't know too many, it's a hard sell, to tell people to eat organ meat. Now, it's also present in fatty fish and lentils, but most people would prefer supplementation to that. But as always, you want to talk with your doctor and say, hey, does this make sense specifically for me?
And where can people go if they want to learn more?
They could check out doctorsbest.com to learn more about CoQ10 and also about heart disease and risk factors in general.
Dr. Tania Elliot, I want to thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
And that does it for today's episode of Rise Unwind, aka your weekly excuse to procrastinate productively. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Truly, you could be anywhere, and yet you chose this delightful show. We appreciate that. Make sure you follow our socials at Rise Unwind, and check out the website to stay updated at riseunwindtv.com. Stay fabulous, stay curious, and stay slightly over-caffeinated, and we'll see you next week on Rise and Unwind.